What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 68, and we start today's episode off with some good news. Riedewald has agreed to an extension here on his contract and will be taken off the transfer list and will stay here at Vicarage Road for a few more years. Now, in the last episode, you may have missed it, but Riedewald did get put on the transfer list as ever since he's came in, really, he's been asking for a new contract. He's still been on $9 a week. We offered him one on $45 a week, and he decided to accept it. So the board taking him on the transfer list. Riedewald is going to stay here, but one player we're still not sure about is Jack Butland. We've given him like 6 or 7 contracts now, but Butland just does not want to stay. He seems like he's got his heart set on leaving Vicarage Road, and that will be really frustrating for me because he's been an awesome goalkeeper for us this season. He's been fantastic, really one of our best performers of the season. I don't want to sell him. The January transfer window is right around the corner. In fact, I do believe it starts in the next episode. The last thing I want to see is Butland end up leaving in January because he's been really good. I've given him the captain's armband with Deeney now dropping to a bench/reserve player. Seeing Butland leave would be a really, really disappointing thing. But regardless, at least Riedewald's going to stay. That's good to see. I'll have to sort out the Jack Butland stuff in the near future.
The visiting team have been undoubtedly the best defensive team in the division, but that defence will be put to the test here.
No, I think the home side will have to produce something special to break through this defence.
And you can see exactly why we're so desperate to get Jack Butland to sign a contract extension here at Vicarage Road. He's got the most clean sheets in the league so far, and our captain at the moment also is part of the defence that has the strongest record in the Premier League. Only 7 goals conceded so far. That's half of what the second place team have got. Right now we're looking really good defensively, and Butland has been a big part of that. Still, we take on Newcastle for the first game of today's episode here, the first of 2 games in today's episode, taking them on away at St James's Park. In our last 4 games in all competitions, we've had 4 wins and 5 wins in our last 6 in all competitions. So coming to this game, we were hoping to make it 5 wins out of 5 games in all competitions, hoping to get another win here, taking on Newcastle. But of course, last season away at St James's Park, we did lose by a goal to nil, so I had to be wary of their threat coming into this game, thinking they could stop our winning streak. There were quite a few chances in the first half, mainly for Newcastle, but the real problem that both sides were having was that they couldn't hit the target. It was still 0-0 going into the break. As you can see, Newcastle had more possession, they had more shots as well, but only 1 shot on target for both sides going into the break. And in the second half, not much really happened until the 83rd minute when Jack Colback launches a crossfield ball towards Johan Gouffran. He flicks it on towards Riviere, inside towards Anita, who goes for goal. But again, just like the first half, Newcastle were creating chances, but they just couldn't hit the target, and it was still 0-0. And later on in the game, as Overton gets on the ball for Newcastle here, he takes it around Ryan Tyler and whips it across to the centre. Riviere wins the header, does put it past Jack Butland, and with 3.5 minutes to go, begins to celebrate, but he stops short in his tracks as the linesman has his flag up and the goal won't count as he is offside. It was a close decision, but as you can see, Davis just about got it right. It was a terrible header. He tried to get the ball away, fell over instead, but thankfully for us, his blushes were spared, even, and it's still Newcastle 0, Watford 0. So Newcastle disallowed a chance to win the game late on, but they possibly would win the game late on in the 90th minute. This goal did stand despite no celebrations happening. Sissoko rifles in this through ball into the back of the net. A great finish by Sissoko past Butland, and it looks as though we are going to lose for the first time in the Premier League this season, and only the second time all season to go along with that 1 defeat to Fleetwood Town. So Newcastle 1, Watford 0. We lost here 1-0 last season. It was looking like we were going to lose 1-0 here again this season as well. But in stoppage times, Balotelli gets on the ball. He plays it back to Ryan Tyler. He drills across into the centre, and Conor Playanka flicks it on the near post, loops the ball over the goalkeeper, and heads it in to make it Newcastle 1, Watford 1. So in stoppage time we conceded, but in stoppage time we also scored. Sissoko's goal looked to be the winner for Newcastle, but we kept on fighting right till the end, and Conor Playanka heads in this Ryan Tyler cross. It loops over Carl Darlow, goes into the top corner. It's a great header by the Ukrainian in fairness, and into the back of the net. So Newcastle 1, Watford 1. Our fans can celebrate, and we're going to keep the undefeated season in the Premier League alive, at least for the time being. So it's his second goal in the Premier League. His first goal came away at Cardiff. That was also in stoppage time, actually, funnily enough. And he does score here a more important goal, really, to rescue us a point and ensure that we do stay undefeated in the Premier League so far. So delighted with that. And when Sissoko scored what seemed to be the winner in stoppage time as well, I still felt as though there was enough seconds on the clock for us to grab an equalising goal. I didn't actually feel as though I was about to concede defeat. You know, usually I'm quite pessimistic, as you guys would probably know if you've been around for a while. Usually I'm quite pessimistic, and you know, on previous occasions I'd probably say, well, that's the game over now. We're going to lose. Newcastle are going to get the win. But I just sensed that we could possibly get one final chance and possibly take it as well. well. And that's the optimism I've got right now with this Watford team. You know, I don't think I mentioned it too much in the last episode, but I really like the team we've got right now. I really do feel confident with the players we've got out there as well. The signings we made in the summer transfer window are all working out. You saw Schneiderlin's goal in the last episode was fantastic. Ryan Tyler's having another fantastic season. Last year was his debut season. This year he's been fantastic as well. 4 goals already and a handful of assists, including that one for Conor Plianka there. You know, Conor Plianka is our record signing. He's done quite well since coming in. He's got a couple of goals, won a few penalties, and also got a couple of assists as well. Just in general, everyone's playing well in this Watford team. And right now, with 2 games to go before the halfway stage in the league, we are top of the table with 37 points. And I think we're full value for it as well. You know, I really do. Last season, we came so close to surprising everyone and almost winning the title before Spurs won it on the penultimate game of the season. And we ended up finishing in 3rd place. But this season, I'm targeting the title, and I definitely think we can win it as well. I don't think I'm being too optimistic. I don't think I'm being too ambitious in the 3rd season. I definitely think with this squad out there, I feel comfortable using the players. I think we've got a great chance of winning it. And as we close out the first half of the season, we are still top and still undefeated in the Premier League as well. Still taking on Aston Villa for the second and final game of today's episode. Here as Villa come and take us on at Vicarage Road, hoping to bounce back from that draw against Newcastle and return to winning ways. And the first chance of the game did fall to Aston Villa. Butler made a really good save, but here you can see Balotelli heads in a Sofiane Boufal corner, gets his 12th goal in 18 Premier League games, or 17 and a half really, and does make it Watford 1, Aston Villa 0. So Balotelli on the score sheet once again, makes it 1-0, and we do take the lead in this game. In the 33rd minute, Conor Plianka almost got his 2nd goal in as many games, but Mark Bunn made a great save to deny the Ukrainian at the near post, and it was still 1-0. And in the 38th minute, we had another good chance here to double the scoring, as Rida Val finds Marco Ryan Tyler down the left-hand side. He takes on Carlos Hill down his left flank, takes it round the Spaniard, gets a little bit lucky as Hill makes the challenge, but he wins it back off him, goes through the shoe, and it's his 2nd goal in 3 league games for Marco the Magician. The Italian winger curls it in with the weaker right foot, kicks the corner flag in celebration, celebrates with the 1st goal scorer Mario Balotelli, his Italian teammate, and the Italians are getting the job done this season. Balotelli's got 12 in the Premier League, Ryan Tyler now has 3, he's 2nd in 3 games as well. He curled in a free kick in our last home game against Stoke City, if you can remember, and he does double the scoring here to make it Watford 2, Aston Villa 0, almost said Stoke, Watford 2, Aston Villa 0. Carlos Hill did win the ball back there, but as you can see, Ryan Tyler just used his body, used his strength to get it back off him, go through 1-on-1, and it's a good finish with the weaker right foot. So 2-0 to Watford, that was the score at half-time, as you can see. Villa hadn't played too badly in the first half, they lacked a bit of urgency really, but they brought that in the second half. 10 minutes after the restart, they had a great chance to open the scoring here as Carvalho finds Bon Lahore. He goes for goal, the shot is deflected off Joe Davis, but Butler makes a great save and claws it off the line, so still 2-0, and just past the hour mark, another good chance for Villa here as Bon Lahore gets on the ball, plays it through towards his teammate, eventually it comes to Bakuna, but once again, I'm singing the praises of the 24-year-old goalkeeper Jack Butland, who makes a fine save, and just a couple seconds later, I'll be saying the same thing, because Carlos Hill crosses the corner into the centre, picks out Jordan Ayew, but again, it's Butland denying a Villa player with a good save, and it is still 2-0. So Butland playing very well in this game. You can see why I'm so desperate for him to sign a new contract and not leave in January. Still 2-0 as he's preserving his clean sheet, and 12.5 minutes to go before the end here. We had a good chance to make it 3-0. Loftus-Cheek cross misses everyone, and it falls to Balotelli, who goes for goal from just inside the area, but it is a really good save by Bunn, who turns it behind for a corner and keeps it at 2-0. And in stoppage time, the final chance of the game would fall here as Villa whipped this cross into the far post. Rida Val manages to get it away for a corner, and everyone comes forward for Aston Villa as they trail by 2-0, including the goalkeeper Mark Bunn. But this was really bizarre because the Aston Villa won themselves a corner. The goalkeeper was coming forward for it. They didn't wait until he got into the box. Jack Grealish takes it early, goes towards the far post. It misses everyone. Matip controls it here, plays it forward, and now Bunn's got to start running backwards. He gives it to Loftus-Cheek. Bunn takes him out from behind with a 2-footed challenge, but the referee plays advantage, and I'm so glad he does because Marco the Magician gets his 3rd goal in 3 games, his 2nd of the night, and our young Italian winger makes it Watford 3, Aston Villa 0 with a goal from behind the halfway line, the longest goal of the series so far. And I've scored a few halfway line goals in my time, and a lot of you guys ask me how I do it, what button I press. It's the lob pass button. Never press the circle button, because when you're inside your own half and you press circle, it'll always act as a clean sheet. Always try and lob pass the ball into the back of the net. That's exactly what we do here with Ryan Tyler. Bunn takes out Loftus-Cheek 2-footed from behind, deserved a red card for that cynical challenge, but the referee thought, no, we're going to play advantage. The young man's got the ball. I'll see what he can do, and I'm so glad he did, because he lobs every Aston Villa player trailing. The replay was taking so long, it just skipped, unfortunately. But either way, Ryan Tyler gets his 2nd of the game, his 3rd of the last 3 games in the Premier League, and does make it Watford 3, Stoke. I said it again. Watford 3, Aston Villa 0. Keep on getting Aston Villa and Stoke confused here. Watford 3, Aston Villa 0, and we do go ahead and win the game by that 3-0 scoreline. So absolutely delighted about that. Marco Ryan Tyler putting the icing on the cherry on the cake, as I would say, with that halfway line goal. That was fantastic. He's having a great season, and we do continue this dream season in the Premier League as well. 18 games in now, we are still top of the table. Everything is coming together really, really nicely, and what a fantastic goal by Ryan Tyler to wrap up these fantastic 3 points. But that does end the episode though, guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like, so that's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.